Yo, hey man, say man, welcome back to another episode of Check the Stats Podcast, episode 12, man. I'm your host, T Cal. Here to the left, we got my co-host Marr, and at the bottom, we got our other co-host, Big Versi, man. How y'all boys been, man?
You guys see the shirt, man. Check the motherfucking stats.
Oh, what? I didn't even see that. That's clean. Oh, that's clean. What?
Man, y'all boys good though?
Yo, what? That's hard. That probably just a Nike shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Nike
I got
shirt.
I got this mug like in middle school, I think, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, that's hard. That's hard. I can't wait for merch and all that. That next elevation for us. But hey, man, I ain't want to play with it. We just need to get right into the first topic. We just keep it going from there. But it's a lot of stuff to get into. I don't want to hold us up any longer. So, Mark, without further ado, let's get it rolling, bro.
What's good, y'all, man? Welcome to today's episode of Check the Stats Podcast, man. We are on episode 12. So, not even gonna waste no time. Let's get straight into it. My first question, man. WNBA, why does the WNBA hate Caitlin Clark so much?
First off, you tell me, because if somebody was coming into an association that was struggling with ratings, struggling to bring viewers to turn on their product, why so much hatred is going towards she could be one of the most generational women professional athletes we have ever seen in our lifetime. And just because, and first I want to get into a bunch of points. Yeah, Charles, I know you probably got something to say about it too, but why is everybody targeting her? And not just like playing physical, like, okay, that's a part of that's a part of sports. I'm not complaining about the physicality, but I feel like some of it is malicious. Like some of it is like targeted, like, oh, like she's the it girl, like, and I think it's more of jealousy than anything. I don't understand what she has done to even deserve this type of, like, mind you, she don't even talk crazy. As far as what we know, maybe on the court she a whole different person, but how she walks around, how she carries herself, the true professionalism. A lot of people, what have she done? Like, she's nothing special about it. Trust me, yes, it is. She's the number one scorer in collegiate women's sports, I believe. One of the greatest shooters I've ever seen, and she truthfully is the main source of why the WNBA is about the pay raises are going to increase, charter flights, and Lord knows whatever other services that the men's teams receive. They're finna receive some of those as well. Endorsements, playing in bigger arenas, like all. She can open up like the waterworks for women's sports in general and recreate like what we, as you know, the general population think about women's sports. But yet and still, we got people like Angel Reese. Angel, I don't understand it. Like, she tries to make herself like it's a competition in a sense where it's like it's her versus Caitlin, and it's never been that. Like, in my personal opinion, I think Caitlin Clark play is more of just strictly talent. Like, she's a talented basketball player. She can shoot, she can handle. She plays like one of us. And Angel Reese is like, no shade towards her. Like, she isn't a bad player whatsoever. But I feel like we give her more of the attention because of her personality and what she brings to the game, like with the dramatics, more of her play. She's a good rebounder, but I mean, she isn't nowhere near the player she isn't nowhere near the player Caitlin Clark is. It's not even like close. So she keeps herself relevant with just petty drama. Like, it's like, okay. And she just said something about today. Like, if you don't mind, I might have to pull this up because I don't understand it. But Charles, you can elaborate on this, and I hope you have a little closure for me because I have no idea where this came from. The reason why we watch women basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of Me Too. And I want y'all to realize that. Charles, what the hell is she talking about? Please, hey, I just want you to tell baby, what is she talking about?
Man, the only thing that I can grab from that is just the fact that she wants to get some of the spotlight that Caitlin's getting. And throughout the whole college career that they had, we obviously seen that they had some stuff brewing between each other. Iowa, LSU, that whole battle that they was going through over the past 2 years. Those were the most entertaining women to watch in the collegiate game over the past few seasons. So when you translate that towards the WNBA, that's going to naturally progress. But seeing how much motion has been brought over to the W is crazy. And it's not even just from Angel Reese. I mean, you're looking at like professional women that are just hating on everything that she's doing. I mean, you got some people like Diana Taurasi trying to give her pointers and things of that nature. Like, oh, yeah, she's going to struggle. This is expected. This is what's going to happen to every rookie that comes to the game. But at the same time, you got others that are trying to like abuse her, trying to sit up here and be like enforcers, like they're trying to like haze her while she's in the game. And it doesn't make any sense. There's non-basketball plays being made on the basketball court that have nothing to do with the actual game in motion, nothing to do with the flow of the game, nothing to do with the fluidity, nothing to do with what product is actually showcased. And it's on a day-to-day basis when it comes to them playing against the Indiana Fever. It's so crazy. And I heard something about what they doing to Caitlin Clark and how her teammates are not even responding to it. Like they're just letting it happen. Like this is your product. This is the face of the WNBA, not in sense of longevity wise, but what's getting the most viewership, bringing the most eyes and attention to the game. And you're just letting your product just get thrown and tossed around like clothes in the washing machine. Like what are we doing here? It don't make any sense what's going on now.
Charles,
Like,
they're playing in NBA arenas. They're playing
exactly.
in NBA arenas.
They're not just playing, they're selling out. Bro, there is more eyes on her games alone this season than there were for the WNBA finals. Like, how does that make any sense?
Charles, I want to read these attendance numbers for you. The past two games this weekend in the WNBA that Caitlin Clark was playing had 17K per game. She only played 2. Every other game, 7K, 4K, 9K, 7K, 3K, 10K, 7K. Like the numbers they're not even comparable. Like, what are we doing? And the thing that frustrates me, I think one of the things that really just like irks my nerves about this conversation, like us as like the black community, we kind of grasp behind Angel Reese and make it more of a race thing than what it actually is. Like, I think they try to make it like, oh my God, like if you're going for Caitlin Clark, like you're supporting the white people. And if you're going for Angel Reese, like you're supposed to be going for Angel Reese because she's one of us. Like, she walks around like, she's from Maryland. She isn't hiding her personality. She's very expressive. Like, we have no problem towards that. Like, I want to make that like crystal clear. It's no issue whatsoever about her personality, how she walks around. But when she tries to integrate herself into like these type of conversations of like, oh no, like the reason why the WNBA has this spotlight and this platform and all these good things coming to the league is not just because of her, it's because of me. And I'm okay with being a villain. Like, it's okay. Like, every sport needs a villain. If I go down in history as a villain, I'm like, you're not even that good to be the villain of Caitlin Clark. Like, your stats, your play, like the only thing that I really like truthfully can give Angel Reese like recognition for is her persona, her personality. Like, she's gonna bring those clicks with the stuff she says and how she dresses and stuff of that nature. And not to say that it's bad, but it's not the same level of like attention that Caitlin Clark is bringing. And Caitlin Clark bringing it strictly off of play, strictly off of the basketball court. She ain't doing all the chirping like after the game, talking crazy. Like her whole like Angel Reese's whole teammate. Charles, you might know the name better than me, but she been going crazy. The one that bumped her in the game, I don't even know her name. What's her name? Yeah. She said, what are we talking about? We need enforcers. She said, we're all grown out here. You need to, she basically getting on all the bus because we just like, what is her teammates doing? Like, why is nobody stepping to her? Like, she just pushed your partner on the ground and y'all sit there and y'all allow that to happen without y'all retaliating or, if it end up having to scrap, you got to scrap. Like, it is what it is, but you showing like not Angel, but Caitlin, we're here. Like, we're protecting you. We know how valuable you are to this organization, to this team, to the league. And like, it doesn't matter if every other team in the league hating on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. It matters if we go out there, we protect her, we make sure she's straight. We make sure if anybody try to roll up on her something crazy, rolling up on her, trying to give her this crazy like rookie hazing that they've been doing so far, like, you check it. And if you gotta take one for the team, get ejected, whoop, is what it is. But you gotta let the league know, like, we're not going for that. You're not gonna abuse one of our players like that. The best player on our team on top of that, and you could and think shit sweet. It's not sweet. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most. Like, Angel Reese is just, it feels like such ignorance. Like, it feels like such ignorance. It does, like, and I hate to say it because I'm black, like, but she's feeding into what they want in a sense. Like, I don't know if y'all disagree on that one, but I think it's bad, bro. Like, I don't think she's bringing positive like attention towards us. Like, maybe for the younger generation, like, okay, like, I can be myself, I can pop my stuff, I can talk my talk, I can walk my walk, and like, she's doing on the highest level, but I feel like she isn't doing it in its proper perspective. So it's kind of leading the generation being like, okay, like, I'm gonna be big and I'm gonna be loud, I'm gonna be ignorant, instead of like, if I'm big and I'm loud, I'm speaking with sense, or like I'm speaking with class, or I'm thinking. Like, not to say Angel Reese isn't thinking, but I'm not just up here just doing stupid stuff and y'all trying to make it a racial thing, and now I don't want to support the black person, but when the white person does it, then everything's good. But the moment one of us do it, then all of a sudden it's an issue. I'm like, we're not trying to create any racial battle between you and Caitlin Clark. For starter, that was a collegiate thing. Like, we left it in college because the talent, like, truthfully, Flau'jae Johnson was the best player on that team. If I'm being honest, she's way better than Angel Reese. To me, I don't know about y'all, but to me, skill wise, what I would turn on my TV to watch LSU would be for her. So this whole conversation about it's a villain, it's a hero and a villain, and Clark's the hero, and Angel Reese is the villain. It's not that. Please stop making it that. Like, Angel Reese, you're an okay basketball player. You're okay. Caitlin Clark is she's going to be a superstar. I'm not saying she's there yet. She has to fill out the game. Obviously, it's a new level. She got to get, ready. She has to build herself for that physicality, but the skill is there. That's the reason why she went number one. The skill has always been there. She just got to find her way. And in due time, she's going to find her way. But stop. The whole world needs to stop trying to make this anything other than what it truthfully is. It's true ignorance. Like, let's be appreciative to see that we have a great talent in Caitlin Clark that's changing the way that we view women's sports. I can't even name you 5 players in the WNBA. Being quite frankly honest, I can't name you 5. I can name you her, and in due time, the more I watch, the more educated I'm gonna become on the WNBA, because that's just what happens when star attractions bring you in to that sport and bring you in to the team. You're gonna start learning different players. You're gonna start integrating yourself more into that sport. Caitlin Clark made me watch more WNBA basketball than I have my entire life. and I'm being quite frankly honest, I don't care if it's insensitive to anybody, the WNBA prior wasn't a good product for us to attract us to go out of our way to do anything else that we were doing in our lives to go turn on the WNBA until now. Despite all the great players that came through, they haven't been able to attract an audience like Caitlin Clark has. So we need to be honest. Like, let's be appreciative of Caitlin Clark. Not saying to take it easy. I'm not saying, okay, let's back up. Let's let her go for 30 and 40 and, let her do what she do in college. Make her earn it. But play basketball. Be respectful. Let's not go over the edge here and do all the extracurricular instead of keeping it what it is, just strict basketball. Physical play is fine, but malicious intent is where we draw the line. Please stop. Make Angel Reese stop. Like, it's getting embarrassing at this point. And you're bringing the black community with it too, because they don't, quite frankly, we don't know no better. We just see Angel Reese bumping her gums and saying something, and all of a sudden you got a whole flock of us just falling behind an ignorant message with no sense behind it. It's just straight like I'm just yapping. Y'all gonna follow me because I'm Angel Reese.
Man, I agree with you for sure. Like, I agree with you 100%. I will say, in the defense of the WNBA as a whole, you got to look at them as a business. Same thing as the NBA. Whether it's positivity or negativity being drawn towards it, they're drawing more eyes. So at the very least, it's entertaining. It's getting more popular. So they're getting viewership that they've never had in a long time, and ever, really. However, at the same time, you got to look at it for what it is. It's not bringing any level of positivity towards what the game is supposed to be. This is not good for the WNBA in terms of anything more than clicks, anything more than eyes, anything more than attention. And if this is the attention that they're seeking, especially with the great talent that they have at their disposal, then quite frankly, what are they doing? It's just, at this point, it's just getting ridiculous. So they definitely need to make some changes for sure. And as for the players on the Fever, like, y'all got to ride for y'all girl. Like, this makes no sense. Like, if anybody was to touch Patrick Mahomes, I guarantee you it's gonna be up. Anybody would have touched CJ Stroud. We take it to basketball terms. Anyone touches Steph Curry, you see how Draymond rides for him. Anyone that touches LeBron, you see how everybody rides for him. You look at other sports, you look at baseball, and you see how the dugouts get crazy after someone gets hit by a pitch on accident. You look at guys in hockey, you see how they get the brawling for they dudes. Like soccer, any other sport. Why is it that when someone that comes into the game and is essentially the hand that is feeding you all these different perks and amenities that y'all have never had, that it's okay for her to go through this all of a sudden new rite of passage for her to just actually be able to be involved and inside this sisterhood that is the WNBA? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you got people that are like, you look at Aaliyah Boston, like she was a #1 pick too. Like she was the best player in her draft class too. She's a great player. She knows what it takes. And she's on the same team as Caitlin Clark. And Clark is out here going through all these troubles. And what are you seeing from Aaliyah? I'm not saying it's all on her, but she's definitely someone that can make an impact in terms of protecting her girl. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I just challenge those women to show some level of pride, and not only for Caitlin Clark, but for the game of basketball as a whole for the WNBA, because this isn't good. Like, it's good viewership, it's good attention, it's good for the game in terms of getting more eyes to the product itself. But in terms of what basketball is at its core, we want to see basketball. We don't want to see this.
And for sure, and for shorter term, protect the damn asset. Protect the asset. She would bring in all this attention to this league. All we ask for y'all to do is protect the asset. If you get ejected, I promise you it might be a $3,000 fine. And you don't think Caitlin Clark gonna come off $3,000 for you, knowing that she's probably making top tier WNBA. I think she makes about 70.
She has her own. Like, she gotta have buku money.
I'm not shoe deals and all that stuff. I'm saying, outside of the salary that she's bringing in, she's by far probably the highest paid rookie that that then came in a little minute. So that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, just protect the asset, bro. Like all this ignorant stuff of you know, even Angel Reese, like she brought up her experiences with it was a girl in a couple games ago, and she, you know, was being a little too you know, over aggressive with her, and she ended up knocking her down, and she almost hit her head on the back of the floor and stuff like that. That's unnecessary too. Like for everybody to sit here and say like, oh, we pick and choose like what we want to like, you know, highlight and like, bro, that's unnecessary too. Like that wasn't basketball, but people try to make it seem like, oh, like we're picking sides. It's not that. Like what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I feel like Angel Reese like tries to make she tries to like bring everybody around to like, y'all see what they doing out here? Like they're against me. Like they're against me because the way I talk, the way I walk, the way, you know, I present myself, like they're against me. Like they're supporting, you know, what corporate America supports. White America. That's what they're thinking. And it's safe to say, obviously, you know, some of that is true. But in this case, when it comes to her and Caitlin Clark, it's a discussion that isn't it's a debate that we shouldn't be debating, because on a talent, like the talent discrepancy is by far, like that's like when we bring up Patrick Beverly, and no shade to Patrick Beverly, that's like when we bring up Patrick Beverly, like are we bringing up Patrick Beverly for his talent, or are we bringing up Patrick Beverly for his antics? It's the antics by fact, like unfortunately, and there's no disrespect, Patrick Beverly is a good basketball player, but we're bringing up Patrick Beverly for the other stuff outside of his abilities on the court. We bring up Angel Reese for every other reason outside of playing basketball. She might be on the court when all this stuff is like transpiring, but are we saying like, nah, like Angel Reese just went out there and gave us a 30-27 block night, done went crazy. Like, I don't even know how much she averages. You know what? Since we sitting here on the best podcast in the world, we need to go check these stats real quick, because you know that's just what we do. Check the stats. Let's see what's going on, because
I wanted to add a little insight in on this too. I did see. I agree with both your answers, by the way, with Kevin Clark, with the Kevin Clark situation. First off, I see.
Look at this. Okay, Angel Reese averages 10.6 a game, 8.9 rebounds. Like,
You see what Kevin Clark average?
That's okay. Like,
That's
okay,
solid. Solid.
Yeah, you're solid for sure. Whoop-de-doo.
Kevin Clark average 15. 15.6.
Kevin Clark 15, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Like, that's better off rip. Mind you, that Caitlin Clark went to the worst team in the WNBA prior to her arrival. So that's, you know, I think Caitlin Clark went 1 and Angel Reese went like 7. Did she? She didn't go top 5.
She went top 10, but she wasn't near the top outside of like she wasn't top 5 for sure.
And we're having a discussion. Like, we're having a discussion like this is 1 and 2. Like, that's 1 and then that's 7. Like, it was 6 other players drafted before her that we don't even talk about enough, because we got to continuously talk about drama brewing from college. Like, let's get past it and play basketball. No disrespect to Angel, but let's just play basketball. Like, enough of trying to bring the sisters within a race confrontation, and you having everything that you say is pitchforks and knives, and we going up and we, oh, everybody that support Caitlin Clark, y'all are, you know, racist, and y'all are this and y'all are that. It's like, it's not that. We just enjoy great hoops. Like, my friend, like, she hoops like one of us. Like, she hoops like she could be in the NBA. So obviously that's what attracting our eyes to this product. So please, let's just protect the asset. Let's play physical basketball. Whatever happens, happens. But anything outside of the intent of playing the game that you done grinded your tail off to get to this point where you're playing on TV, getting paid above average salary, we don't want to see that. We want to see pure hoops. That's it. End of question.
I agree with you, bro. I agree with both your answers, like I was saying before. Yeah, the hate towards Caitlin Clark is crazy. Like generational talent, you know what I'm saying? Probably the best WNBA basketball player that we've ever seen. Like real talk. But I remember seeing one thing on Instagram. It was like the after game, like the post game interview, whatever. Yeah, it was like the
Who?
post game interview. Huh?
You talking about with who?
It was with Caitlin Clark. It was like a post game interview with Caitlin Clark. Like basically they were being like sarcastic or something like that towards her because she came late to the interview or something like that. But it's because she was signing jerseys or something like that. And then like you can kind of like see like two like on the court, they don't be like passing her the ball like enough. Like I'm saying she's the best player on the court. Why not feed her the ball? But in that post game interview, you could tell that like her teammates were being like sarcastic and everything like that. And I'm just like, I mean, there's jokes and then there's like, there's just like flat out, I ain't gonna say hate, but just, like jealousy. I'm gonna say, yeah,
Jealousy.
it's just flat out like jealousy. And you can kind of like see it. And it's like, you hating on somebody that's on your own team, you know what I'm saying? If anything, you should want to do better, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man, but I'm not trying to be like a sexist or anything like that, but like, that's sometimes what girls do, bro. Like, that's sometimes what girls do, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like they be hating on each other, bro. Like girls sometimes they be hating on each other, bro.
I'm not. Yeah, I ain't arguing with you there. It's just funny.
Like, I'm not trying to be a sexy or anything, bro. But like girls, they do be hating on each other, bro. Like, and you could kind of see it in the post game. Well, yeah, the post game interview and everything like that. So, like y'all said, man, let's just hoop and play good basketball, bro. Like all that beef from college, I don't even need to bring that into the WNBA. This is a new chapter in y'all lives.
And trust me, it's not even beef. Like Caitlin Clark hasn't addressed that not one time. It's all been Angel, by the way. It's been a narrative that she's been trying to push for the past 2 years. She coming in your face, you can't see me. Going out of her way to be ignorant, like putting up rings and you can't see me and all that stuff. We said when Caitlin Clark does it, it's fine, but when I do it, it's like she's being extra. Yes, you're being extra because you're going out of your way to go do those type of things. Like she literally went directly to her and pointing all in her face and doing all of this, going out of her way. Like it's a whole difference. Like say if I like just an example, if I cross a Marr and I make the shot and I look at him and I'm like, get off the ground. Like you can't guard me over there. That's fine in the moment. But it's that's kind of like, okay, like I make a 3, make an and 1, and then I go run all the way up and down to your bench 3 minutes after I done made the shot. None of y'all niggas can't fucking guard me. Y'all suck. Like, so you're going out of your way to do that. You going out of your way to be ignorant. Like, mind you, it's nothing going on right now in the game. Like, mind you, they were probably at the free throw line when all this stuff is happening. You can't see me and putting up the ring. I'm like, oh my God. Like, if it ain't one thing, it's another. It's just a bunch of theatrics. We can't just ever keep it to just strict hoop. And then, we love that one. I don't even want to go no deeper into it because Lord have that's a conversation. Oh boy, I can't.
Nah, I feel that. Okay, man. On to the next topic. Let's get into this NFL talk, man. So Nico Collins, man. Y'all see he agreed to terms. He was extended by the Texans. 75 million, and 52 million guaranteed, man. Was that too high, too low? Like, what y'all feel about that?
First off, we need to get into it because Nico Collins played top 10 receiver level football last year. And I don't care about, it's just 1 year. Can he redo it again? All that stuff. That's for us to decide. Nico Collins is 25 years old, despite his injury history. He's 6'4", 215. Moving like that. He's running in the rounds at 6'4", 215. I don't think we understand. He's running in the rounds and running at top speed at 6'4", 215. That's for the slots. The outside, the X receivers, they're not doing those type of things. Nico Collins' versatility is next to none. Nico Collins played top 10 level football. I mean, for the CJ Stroud came in and he elevated his game. Okay, we can acknowledge that. But you know who's still going to be there? CJ Stroud. And who's going to be there for essentially the rest of his career if management does right by him and put the pieces around him correctly? CJ Stroud's going to still be there. So for us locking up Nico Collins at that number, it's I words couldn't describe my happiness when I seen that contract finally be done, because signing Nico Collins to $23 million a year was low-key a steal, because obviously we seen what just just came up the pipeline. Jalen Waddle. Don't even get me started with Jalen Waddle's contract. I mean, that was atrocious. Now, I think, we give or take, because I know Marr, that's one of your favorite receivers in the league, but Jalen Waddle and Nico Collins aren't on the same level. Nico Collins is literally a wide receiver one in this league. I feel like if we didn't get Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins could have still been that one. And by frank and being honest, I think Nico Collins is still the one on the Texans. I think it's a 1A. It's kind of 1A, 1B, but I wouldn't know who to put as the B, because respect to Diggs, because Diggs was a top 10 receiver. But Nico Collins is he's that dude. I don't think people understand his he know how to fill the holes in zones. He know how to find them holes. He's a deep threat by far. 6'4", 215. I'm sorry that I keep repeating that, but we got a 6'4", 215 guy that probably sub 4'4" guy playing football at the highest level with a top 5. He's going to be a top 3 quarterback by the end of this year. Mark my words. CJ Stroud, top 3 quarterback. Said here first, June 3rd, 2024. He's going to be top 3 by the end of this year. Mark my words. The contract was literally it was a steal, because obviously the contracts that came up the pipeline was enormous, and we're gonna get into that a little after this. But I think we got him at the right price before he had another year to prove himself and to up his value. And shoot, he could have messed around and been touching Amon-Ra St. Brown type money, Tyreek Hill type money, 30+. He would have been a $30+ million receiver per year if he would have picked. If he would repeated what he did last year, he was going to get 30. And, man, quite frankly, we would have had to sign him, and that would have hurt us. So us locking him up at the number that we got him is amazing for the Texans. I don't think it was too high or too low. I think it was the just right number for Nico Collins and his value to the Texans.
I agree with you, man. 3 years. Y'all gonna have 3 more years. Y'all gonna have Nico, man. That's great, man. That's great. Back to the topic with Jalen Waddle and Nico. Nico is for sure better than Jalen. I'll be real about that. Jalen Waddle is very talented, but Nico is better, bro. And he shows it. Both of them are great receivers, but Nico is the full package type of thing. You can put Nico anywhere. Jalen Waddle, you can put him on the outside, but he's more of a slot guy in my eyes. So it's Nico, he's
his hands too iffy.
Yeah. He still got to get his hands right and everything like that.
He's injury. No disrespect.
Yeah, we know how good he is. But if we being real, man, like TK said, Nico played like a top 10 receiver last year. And to sign him for $75 million, $15 million guaranteed, that's great. That's a steal. And he's just going to keep on elevating, especially with CJ Stroud in the backfield, man. So it's I'm saying, the sky's the limit for them boys, honestly, for both of them, for Nico and
Charles. Don't try to hop over. I don't want you to try to be no Texan fan, no Nico Collins fan after us in the signing. We know how you get. You get excited that Houston got good stuff going on and want to jump on whenever you got a chance. But trust me, you done missed out on this opportunity, partner. you ain't hopping on this ship. It's over.
Man, I really gotta commend your ability to push this narrative that I'm a bandwagoner. Like, I really gotta salute you for that. Like, shout out to you, man. That's crazy. I've been in Houston since I've been born, so I can't even sit up here and entertain that. But back to this whole Nico situation. Shout out to the Texans for getting it done, for signing this man. I honestly was worried that this guy was going to end up, going to the free agent market looking for a team that's going to give him the proper value that he probably would have wanted. Shout out to Nico, because I feel like even though this is a great contract for him, I feel like this might have been a team-friendly deal. Like, he probably was looking at himself like, oh, do I want to get this bag or do I want to get slightly less while still playing for a contender and a top-tier quarterback?
Here, Charles, don't. I don't want to cut you off. I'm gonna ask you something real quick, and I'm gonna let you get back to your point. Do you think that Nico signed that contract? Like, obviously, it was, I mean, we can't say it's team friendly, but I mean, he's still getting paid top 7 receiver money in the league. But do you believe that his injury history played a role in, okay, let me hurry up and like guarantee this money? Because Nico going into OTAs and stuff like that was, in press conferences saying like, I'm not the one to turn down no money. Like, if it's something like, if it's something brewing for me to get my money, I mean, to me to get paid, I'm not turning down no money. So do you believe that his injury history plays a factor? And like, okay, like maybe I could have got a little more, but like, since they stuck around with me, through my nicks and knacks, and like this was kind of my first year of like truly showing like, okay, like there's potential there. It's, he can maybe potentially up at a level. Do you think that kind of played a factor in him signing that contract at that number? Or do you think it's more like it was a good deal for him? Like that was the best he could get?
I feel like he could have got more. I don't necessarily think it would have been like anything like super crazy, but if you wait another year, you got to think about it. The wide receiver market value is skyrocketing. I mean, like, you see all these top tier receivers waiting on deals. I mean, we're waiting for all the dominoes to fall. We just had a big one today with what we're going to get into later. But you're looking at Jamar Chase, he's looking for a bag as well. CeeDee Lamb, he's looking for a bag as well. You're looking at these top tier level receivers, and wherever you feel like Nico Collins fits in that mold, no matter how subjective it is, he's going to be asking for top level dollars sooner rather than later. So the way I'm the Texans organization, I'd rather bite that bullet in the paycheck now as opposed to the end of his contract year. Because especially if he elevates to a level that we know he can get to or has any similar level of performance, especially as a number one, if price productivity goes, then that's going to be a hell of a lot that you're going to have to come up off of. Also, keep in mind, too, I like the fact that we got Nico as the for sure security blanket for CJ Stroud towards the end of his rookie deal. Like, that's huge. Me personally, as much as I like the Stephon Diggs addition, I really do feel like it's a 1-year rental. Like, I honestly feel like Stephon might not re-sign with us just off of the fact that he's probably just, like, even though he's looking for a ring, like he wants to get to that upper echelon level, I just feel like the Texans are looking at this from a standpoint of, okay, we got an abundance of wealth at this wide receiver position. Like, we got Nico Collins doing this thing. We had Tank Dell, who realistically was going to probably have more yards than Nico if he didn't get hurt towards the end of the year. We got a guy like Noah Brown who just came up out of the blue and added a resurgence to his career. We got Dalton Schultz, who we already bagged up for another few years doing his thing at the tight end position. We still don't know what we're going to get from John Mechie. So if he can elevate to the point where we thought he was going to be towards his draft day once he came out of Alabama, then who knows? I feel like we got to.
And Charles, don't forget about Xavier Hutchinson too. Out of Iowa State, that he got potential of becoming something too with reps and with time if he ends up becoming that. But shoot, we got him too.
Exactly. We got wealth and abundance at that wide receiver position. Like, a quarterback can't ask for too much more if you're CJ Stroud. You got to be happy with what the Texans set you up with for the future and what they can potentially set you up with for a long period of time, especially with bagging up Nico. I feel like Stephon is a 1-year rental. And that's no disrespect to Stephon because I don't know what his plans are. But at this point in time, it's hard for me to see Stephon re-signing with this squad, especially with the Texans' plans of trying to build around CJ for a long period of time. Obviously, we're in win now mode, but we're trying to be a contender for years to come. We don't want to stack all of our chips and put it in one basket. We can't do that. So it's great to see Nico get that bag for sure.
Do you believe that? I mean, me personally, I believe that Stephon Diggs crossing that 30 mark. That's kind of like when the receivers kind of take a downward hill trajectory in their play, just a little bit. Not to say that Stephon is going to be nothing less than what he was previous years, but I mean, as time, Father Time waits for no man and doesn't miss anybody. So as the older we get, the explosiveness may go down a little bit. The speed may go down a little bit. Like his effectiveness to the game may go down a little bit. So it's kind of like once a receiver kind of cross 30, you don't want to really just be too tied in with them until they hit that 30, getting close to the mid 30s, 33, 34s, because Stephon going to be signing to them. So I think the Texans did a smart strategical thing, which is, okay, how about we just dead them back years, make all his money up front guaranteed. This is your proven year. And if he wants to come back on the right price, he can come back on the right price. But I don't think Stephon Diggs. I don't think it's just not out of realistic possibilities that Stephon Diggs could come back. It just wouldn't be a top level dollar, of course, because we have Nico Collins that we're paying this money to, with the abundance of other talent that's coming up the pipeline with Stingley and Harris and Will Anderson eventually with of course CJ Stroud, Tank. Like we have a lot of players that unfortunately we're not gonna be able to keep all our good talent. That's just kind of how the league works. You can't pay everybody. But I feel like Stephon, if it really just depends off this year. If he just goes crazy, then it's like, okay, we might well kiss him goodbye because we're not. I would be mad as a Texas fan if we would sign Stephon at some crazy number. It's not worth it. Like, I would rather go get somebody in the draft. I'd rather go, build within, see what we have with Metchie the year after, than to, okay, like now let's give Stephon 3-year, $70-some million with like, and the numbers gonna go crazy next year because numbers only go up. So he mess around, probably try to get at least 60, 62 guaranteed out of a $70 million deal at the age of like 31. And we can't afford that. So hopefully Stephon Diggs, if he is as productive as he was in Buffalo, that he's willing to stick around at the right price. But if he isn't, then we have Nico, we have Tank, and we'll be fine with the talent that we bring in future aspects.
I agree with you on that. All right, man. Justin Jefferson, man. He just signed an extension with the Vikings. 4-year, $140 million, $110 million guaranteed. What are y'all thoughts on that, man? That's huge, bro. That's crazy.
First off, shoot, he broke the bank by far. I think he's the number one. He's the number one non-quarterback, like as far as like per year salary at $35 million per year. That's insane. I don't think we're kind of just like understanding what he just did. He just reset the receiver market for top level receiver. He just got paid $88.7 million at the time at signing, guaranteed. Like, I don't think he just made generational wealth. He just made generational wealth with this one signing because he getting endorsements and all that nature. But my question to that is like, I really ain't got no question, to be honest, because they have a rookie quarterback. They're playing with house money right now. We're trying to see if JJ if he's gonna be it or he not gonna be it. And that's the benefits of playing with a rookie quarterback, that you build around him, give him the most you utilize the weapons around you, get the most out of them to see, okay, is he it or is he not? So it's like by the time this deal is over, JJ will probably be up for whatever deal he gets if he performs to that level to deserve any type of max money. So it kind of works out good in the Vikings timeline. You got Hawkinson locked up on a nice deal. You got Jettas. I mean, they just paid Grenard and Cashman. I mean, you can have that. Like, shoot. We got Hunter. But Jettas getting locked up on this deal was huge for the league as it reset the market. And it's that's gonna be the next question. Marr, you can get into that, but it's gonna be scary for them next guys coming up the chamber.
So, well, Charles, if you have anything to say to it.
Man, first off, I know Judge, he deserved that money for sure. And it's not like the Vikings really had much of an option. But boy, they wouldn't have been able to get him if they re-signed Cousins, right?
Not at all.
They dodged a bullet with that one. Oh my God. And like you're right, they are playing with house money. I mean, it's not even the fact that they got J.J. McCarthy also. You got Sam Darnold on the bench. Like, you're not expecting him to do anything crazy. And if he has an outstanding year to where he resurges his career, you're not going to give him a boatload of money. Like, he's a bridge quarterback. And it's no disrespect to him because as a bridge quarterback, you can find success in this league. But for the Vikings, they're just looking for stability at that position. And what better way to find stability to see if J.J. McCarthy is that guy than signing a top-tier elite receiver that's going to be there for a long period of time. 4 years, crazy. $35 million a year, it's insane. But for what he's been able to do in this short period of time, I feel like he's making historic numbers as far as like his productivity was. Like the numbers between him and Vikings Randy Moss is actually insane. Like he's outpacing him in certain areas, which is crazy. But when you got a generational talent like that at your wideout, you have to do what you got to do to keep that guy around because those guys only come once every blue moon. And if you got them, you don't want to let anybody else get a hold of your asset at all.
At all. Mari, you already know the next question coming up the brim. I mean, I want to hear Charles' take on this one.
So we done got into Nico Collins deal, and we done got into Justin Jefferson deal, man. So let's get into it, man. So do y'all feel like the CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase deserve similar or above what they just got paid, what Jettas got paid?
Me personally, it hurts for me to say it, but like, CeeDee just came off of a historic year, so if I was CeeDee, I wouldn't take no less per se, even though he just kind of just really reset the market, like for real, and if CeeDee signed back, then realistically they're losing somebody. You can't sign Micah. You can't sign Dak. You can't sign all these people. If you sign CeeDee at the number Jetta's got or above, you might well kiss Micah goodbye. Micah's going somewhere else. Unless Jerry Jones finds some money out the oil fields somewhere back in Texas, there's no way you're gonna be able to sign all these cats. But now Jamar, I think Jamar is a better receiver, so I think he deserves the money. Of course, he deserves to be a little more overpaid than Jettas. I mean, if you can kind of get him around that $36 million annually per mark, I think that's fine. But CeeDee, do I think he's of the level of those two receivers? No, I don't. But do I think CeeDee is in the ballpark, like to earn this type of money after coming off of the productivity and the productive season that he had? Yeah, of course. So if CeeDee was to ask for this type of money, would I be mad? No. Are they the same level player? No. But stats don't lie. He had a good season last year. He had a good season the year before, but this year he upped it a little. And in a comparison to CDs and Jetta stats, I mean, they both been in the league 4 years. They came in the same draft class. CD was drafted slightly over Jetta's. They both have 4 seasons. Justin Jefferson has 3 All-Pros to CD's 2. CD and Jetta's both made Pro Bowls 3 out of their 4 seasons. CD has 3 more catches than Jetta's at 395 to Jetta's 392. Jetta's has more yards by at least 800 with 5,899 yards to CD's 5,145 and total touchdowns. CD got them marked over 4. CD has 35. Jetta's has 31. But to be fair, the only reason realistically that Jetta's didn't make all-pro team or a Pro Bowl team this year was because he was injured with his hamstring injury for about 7 to 8 weeks. So just imagine if he was able to have those games and to make up that ground that he missed out on. I believe he probably would have ended up being he could have been Triple Crown this year. And the stats that I'm reading could have been even more further away. So that's just a testament kind of to Jetta's greatness and the kind of like where he separates himself from CeeDee Lamb as far as like talent wise and also like the money that he brought in. I think, okay, like he showed by far he deserved that money. And not to say that CeeDee doesn't, but to the level of what Jetta just brought in, no. Now Jamar Chase, yes. Like Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the league. He is the premier receiver in the league, not off of just straight marketing value and all that stuff. We know that's Jetta's. Jetta gets the most marketed. He's the most marketed receiver. We can keep it a buck. But as far as talent, ability, versatility, I mean, there's no other receiver that I would want in the league. I'm taking Jamar Chase over any receiver in the league. If you do a pool of 32 teams and they gave me all their wide receiver ones, I'm going and looking for number 1 out of Cincinnati, and I'm grabbing them quick, and I'm writing a blank check, and I'm saying put the number on there because he deserves every penny that he's going to potentially get because he's that special.
I ain't got no argument with you about that, bro. Now with CD and Jamar, I feel like Jamar does deserve like at least similar to what just got paid, just because we already know. I mean, he's generational talent, bro. Him and CD. CD, I believe that he should get similar to it, especially after the season. He just had a historic season, so I mean, I feel like he deserves similar as well. I mean, honestly though, like those 3 are just generational talent at receiver, bro. I mean, of course, Jamar and Jetta's are like way better, but it's just like you just can't pass up on those type of opportunities, man. But that's really all I got on that, really.
Bryce, what you got, man?
Man, I don't want to get into this whole argument that we did last episode, but you know where I stand. You know how
we can. Hey, I ain't ducking no smoke. You know we can rumble anytime.
Man, me neither. But I want to get to the topic at hand as far as Chase and CeeDee deserving as much, if not more, than Jetta's. I personally feel like Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league, and I stand on that. So by default, I'm gonna say no. But we all know that they're gonna ask for it. And here's the tricky thing. For the Cowboys, you mentioned it. If CeeDee signs a deal that's worth that kind of money for that long period of time, they're letting go of somebody, whether it's Micah, whether it's Dak. I mean, you look at all the receivers that have been holding out for a deal like this so that they can see where their market value is. They are looking at this and trying to be the guy that not only sets the market, but expands upon it. They want to be that benchmark that everybody wants to get at. And they all have their individual rights to do so. I mean, they are important as hell to their teams. You take away CeeDee from Dallas, what is Dallas? You take away Jamar Chase from the Bengals, Then you got Joe Burrow throwing to, we don't know what's going to happen with T. Higgins. So it's real tough for them to not get that kind of money from those respective teams, but it puts those teams at a bind because Dallas is not keeping everybody. Like, let's just keep it a buck. They're not keeping everyone. They've been having Dak waiting on a contract for the longest period of time, and everybody and their mama trying to figure out if he deserves it or not. You got Micah coming up. You got Trayvon Diggs. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different players that are important to your squad, and they haven't produced. So it's not like they're going to get a hometown discount.
So, Charles, who do you think is the one player on that team that isn't that they're going to realistically lose out of those three players that you listed on the Cowboys?
Probably, in all honesty, it might either be Michael or Trayvon, because as much criticism as Dak has gotten over the years, and it's much deserved, it's hard to find a quality quarterback in the NFL. And whatever you think about Dak, I think we can all sit up here and agree that he is above average. Like, if there's a standard, if there's a line that's drawn about, okay, here's the bottom, this is the worst quarterback in the league, and here's the top, Dak is somewhere at least above the line. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
As far as Micah Parsons, yeah, he's a great edge rusher, but as far as him compared to a quarterback, you could find edge rushers a dime a dozen, whether in the draft, whether in free agency, or whether finessing the team out of a trade. Same thing with corner. I mean, there's two corners that came out of the draft class with Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley. Like, they're great corners from that draft class. You can find them easily. Witherspoon from last season alone. Like, you could find those type of guys a dime a dozen compared to a generational quarterback. Not to say Dak is generational, but I mean, if you want to be relevant, if you want to be relevant and if you want to have a chance at a Super Bowl, you got to have a guy. And maybe he's not that guy to take you over that level, but you'd rather have him as opposed to someone that's just a bridge.
So, Charles, do you believe that they're going to trade Trayvon Diggs if that was the case? But, Trayvon got paid last summer, 80 plus million. So he's already paid.
It depends on if they feel like – it depends on who they feel is more important. Do they feel like Ceedee is more important and integral to the team, or do they feel like Trayvon is more important? It also depends on who they feel is more replaceable. I mean, Dallas builds through the draft. They are a great drafting team. They know how to find talent and cultivate it almost as good as anybody else in the NFL. Like, they have a track record of doing that for a long period of time, especially recent memory for sure. So, and then as far as Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Like, I don't know. Because I know Mahomes restructured his contract after the Super Bowl, so I think it could be him. You could be right, though. I'm going to go look it up real quick, but I believe Mahomes reconstructed his contract after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Mahomes reconstructed it to a more team-friendly, to where they can, be on the verge of creating a dynasty for the Chiefs.
But he reset it too. You remember he resigned.
Yeah, that's true. But even with that being said, Joe Burrow, even if Joe Burrow is the number one, he's not far off. At worst case, he's got to be a top 3 highest paid quarterback in the league. And if you're going to have him on the squad, obviously, because you need a quarterback, and he's debatably one of the best quarterbacks in the league to a lot of people, including myself. And then you add Jamar Chase into that payroll with money that's more than what Justin Jefferson just got. What does that do for the Bengals? Like, that just sets that whole team back. I mean, they already lost pieces from their defense when they went to the Super Bowl. They already lost those guys in order to make room for Joe Burrow for this kind of record-setting contract that he signed at the time. You already having troubles with trying to re-sign T. Higgins. That's why you franchise tag him. And guys on the franchise tag feel a certain type of way. So it ain't like he gonna be likely to return to the squad anytime soon. You get two of the highest paid players at your position, at quarterback and receiver respectively. I mean, you are setting that team back in terms of being a title contender, not in terms of talent from those guys, because those guys are elite. But at the same time, I mean, you're going to have a whole lot of holes that you're expecting those guys to fill. Like, they're going to have a lot of weight on their shoulders, not to say that they don't already, but you're not going to be able to pay a lot of guys buku money. It's going to be a lot of one-year rentals. It's going to be a lot of guys that you're just hoping take that leap. It's going to be a lot of rookies that you're just banking on turning into superstars for the low. So it's going to be tough if Jamar Chase signs that bag to what Jettas got. It's going to put the Bengals in a bind for sure. It's going to be crazy to see how they try to manage and maneuver around it.
And you know that their owner is cheap as hell. So realistically, getting the money off of him is a long shot.
It's crazy because this is the best we've seen the Bengals. I mean, outside of the Andy Dalton, AJ Green years, I mean, when have we ever looked at Cincinnati as a annual title contender? I mean, they are considered the best team in the AFC North, depending on who you ask, between them and the Ravens. I mean, if you want to throw the Steelers in there just because they always in the mix, I guess. But, I mean, the Bengals have reached new heights we've never expected them to. And to think that they will be able to retain that just because they have Joe Shiesty in the gun and Chase busting the gritty after every time he scored a touchdown, I mean, that's cool. That's great. But you don't win Super Bowls with just guys. Like, it's a collective. You don't see Mahomes putting on a cape night in and night out by himself. It's him. It's Travis Kelce. For a while, it was Tyreek Hill. This year, it was Rashee Rice. It was Snead. It was McDuffie. It was Karlaftis. It's Pacheco. It's a lot of guys that helped that team get a Super Bowl. For the Rams, it was Stafford, Odell, Vaughn, Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp. I mean, the list goes on. Yeah, like, it's a lot of guys. It's a collective unit. You can't just expect two guys to be the savior of your franchise for that long period of time just because you feel like they are the best two players at their respective positions.
Yeah, Mari said.
I was making sure I had popped my knuckles, so I ain't hear if you was done or not. But man, next question, man. So we all seen with CJ. Well, hold on. Next question, man. All right, so with Tank Dell and CJ Stroud, we seen an interview on Millions Dollar Worth of Game podcast with Gillian Waller, and CJ Stroud listed his top 5 QBs. So he said it was Pat Mahomes at 1, Lamar Jackson at 2, him at 3, which is CJ at 3, Josh Allen at 4, and Dak at 5. Do y'all have a problem with that list? Like, what are y'all thoughts on that list? What do y'all think about that?
It's insane because, quite frankly, I don't really have too much of an issue with that list. If we're going based off of just pure last year, what we seen on the field, that Prescott played like a top 5 quarterback throughout the whole, from start to finish. Now, to the defense of that take, Dak Prescott, I mean, it was just a bad year for quarterbacks. Like, we can be honest. A-Rod can win down first three seconds of the damn game. He ran out with the flag. Next minute, he out for the rest of the year. He's going to come back with a comeback season, of course. But then you have Justin Herbert. He got banged up behind a bad O-line, injury plague team, per usual. I mean, shoot, if you go to the Chargers, you down to miss about 4 to 5 games minimum. I'm going to mess with them. And then you had Joe Burrow out with the hand injury. Then you had who else missed time? Like, it was so many quarterbacks that missed time last year. I lost track. I mean, Deshaun missed pretty much the whole season. Trevor Lawrence was in and out. I mean, Jalen Hurts had a down year.
Herbert, he broke his finger.
Yeah, Herbert broke his finger. Stafford was in and out the lineup because he was hurt. Like, it wasn't really just a year. I mean, Kirk Cousins was injured halfway through the season, so it really wasn't. It wasn't a great season for quarterbacks. So that's why I really think Lamar. I mean, I don't want to be the guy to hate on Lamar and his parade and stuff, but I feel like that's a kind of a bigger reason why he did win the MVP was based off of like it wasn't a good year around the league for quarterbacks. It wasn't the most. How can I say it? Or not? How can I say it? It was a down year. Like Mahomes didn't even have one of his typical Mahomes years, and that's really meaning something. If Mahomes, we kind of hold Mahomes to a high standard. So Mahomes last year's stats was he threw for 4,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 INTs. That wasn't good by no stretch imagination at all for Mahomes. So he wasn't winning the MVP. Then CJ Stroud, he got hurt. Realistic, would he have been a realistic in a conversation of MVP? Yes, I think that if he would have played that full game against the Jets, I feel like he would have beat them, and then we would have had 11 wins, and we could have really been in that conversation. But as far as last year, like from start to finish, I feel like that was a really good list of the indication of, and I want people to understand this is just going off of year-to-year basis. We're not saying Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in the league as we speak right now. But going off of what we've seen on the field last year, Dak Prescott played top 5 level football. Now, in the playoffs, that was a whole different story. We seen the real Dak. Charles versus favorite quarterback in the league, Dak Dakota Rain Prescott. Showing LaShawn McCoy that he wasn't too crazy to say Dak is ass. Like, he played like some real ass in the playoffs. So, to answer my question, CJ Stroud list was probably by far the most accurate list. Going off of regular season performance from start to finish throughout the whole league, that was a picture perfect accurate list.
I just want to go on the record that man is not my favorite quarterback whatsoever. I just got to get that out the way. I'm actually surprised that you looked at that list and didn't see too much wrong with it, because of I think a few episodes earlier when we had that discussion about quarterbacks and we was ranking Dak. As far as his list, it's important to know that this is strictly based off of last year, of course. I'm curious to know what y'all's list would be as far as what the projections will be heading into this season.
Oh, sure. I ain't got no issue with answering that one. Number one is going to obviously be Mahomes. I think Mahomes is kind of just the placeholder. Like, everybody else falls in after him. Then number 2, I believe, would be Burrow. And then number 3, I think, would be CJ. And then 4, I believe it would be it's hard because I feel like Allen might take a down year, because not necessarily a down year, but I feel like the offense is going to change because, they was kind of a run heavy team when they made the transition to Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator. So I think the identity is going to shift. They're going to be more in the trenches. So I don't think Allen, the use of Allen is going to be as such as more of a passer, but more of like RPO game. Like, let's get him on the ground. Let's scare him with the quick pass option, but also we want to keep it tucked. We want to control the pace of the game and minimize the other team's possession. So I think this is going to be a down year for Allen. So I might put him at 5, and at my 4th spot, I'll put Lamar. I think Lamar in a year 2 Todd Monken offense with Derrick Henry back there, that'll be scary. So I think that's a solid top 5, and then coming shortly behind him, I think it's hard because I want to put Herbert in it. Like, I really want to put Herbert in that mix because Herbert is a talented quarterback. Like, if we're going off talent, Herbert's top 3. Talent alone is top 3. Now, football is more than just, okay, are you talented? It's about results and what you do on the field. But I think Herbert would go into my 6, 7 spot. falling behind a couple other guys, but I don't want to get too deep in there because I want to hear y'all perspective list. But my top 5 would be 1 Mahomes, 2 Burrow, 3 CJ, 4 Lamar, and 5 Josh Allen, with honorable mention of Justin Herbert at 6.
I don't find a lot of faults in that list at all. I think everybody here is going to have Mahomes universally number 1, so we can just skip that. 2, I would have Burrow. You know, you look at the type of player he has been, took his team to the Super Bowl his second season, his first season fully healthy, which is insane. 3, I got to respect what Lamar has done. So I got to put him at number 3 because he has, every single year, he has ascended his level of play to improve the Ravens' standing. They go from a wild fringe playoff team to a wild card team to, oh, now they won the division, now they're in the division round. Last season, oh, now they're in the AFC Championship game. So it's like we're expecting him to get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, he's got a lot on his shoulders, but he's definitely making strides that a lot of other quarterbacks haven't. 4, I got my guy CJ. The level he came into the league, this is probably his worst he's ever going to be. So the ascension is going to be crucial. At 5, for production alone, you can't dismiss Josh Allen because he is going to turn the ball over like crazy, but he's going to double up the touchdown passes, and then he's going to throw in at least 10 rushing touchdowns as well. Plus, he's durable as hell for a quarterback his size, and his play style is kind of unheard of. As far as my first few cuts, I look at what it's kind of a wild name to throw out there. I look at what Jordan Love is. Man.
Hey, Charles. Who are you taking, Herbert or Jordan Love?
I'm taking Love. I mean, Herbert is a great. Why are you looking like that, Marr?
Yeah, but it's sick. He didn't want to hear that.
Look, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm gonna let you explain your shit, and then I'm gonna get on mine.
I mean, you look at the resumes. You obviously got to factor in that Love has been a professional backup for like three years, so that definitely holds him in a bit of an advantage as opposed to Herbert, who was thrown in the fire almost immediately. Both teams have had their respective level of up and down play last season. Obviously more in favor of the Packers because of the fact that they went to the playoffs and went all the way to the divisional round. Jordan Love started the year off rough in his first year as a true starter, and then he finished with like 30-something touchdowns in like a handful of games. Like he was
playing good, like really good down the stretch, bro. Really good. Like he has talent, bro.
Nah, he wasn't playing good. He was playing great. Like let's not just sit up here and act like this man was one bad throw away. Like we can't just sit up and act like he wasn't one bad throw away from being in the NFC Championship game against the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Like one bad decision. Up to that point, he played a pretty damn good game. As far as Herbert, the thing about him that I struggle to grip with is the fact that this man has all the talent in the world, 4,000-yard seasons, lots of touchdowns. He knows how to sling that rock. He's durable as well. He's mobile. He's everything that you want a prototypical quarterback to be. I mean, for Christ's sake, I think he's like 6'5", 6'6".
He's 6'6".
But the thing about it is, like, at some point in time, it's got to produce to wins. I mean, how many times have we looked at the Chargers as like, oh, watch out for this dark horse Super Bowl contender, and they disappoint us every year? Hell, their best season under Herbert, they went to the playoffs and was up by 4 touchdowns, and they lost to the Jaguars of all teams. Like, come on. We gotta stop looking at Herbert as this dude who's, and it sounds like I'm hating. I'm not, because I really do like Herbert as a quarterback, but even I gotta accept the fact like this dude has to produce. And you're right, the injury bug for the Chargers hurts them. You play for them, then you're bound to get hurt at some point. But at the same time, if you're that guy who's capable of elevating his team, you got to get those wins. We don't care that you're going up against the defending back-to-back champions in the Chiefs. I mean, you over here struggling against guys like the Broncos and the Raiders too. So it's like, what are we doing? We need more from you. And it's not like you're incapable of doing it, but at the same time, like you got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and you went to the playoffs once. Like we gotta be real.
But shit, we gotta be fair though. Them guys were just available as us, and we not nowhere near the league. They was out majority of the weeks. So, when Keenan's on the field, he's amazing. But Mike Williams, with as far as his availability, shoot, he was here with us. We didn't know where he was.
Okay.
Mike was always hurt. Keenan would be hurt, bro. Like O-line was trash or hurt. So I was like, what more can Herbert do? Herbert was still doing some shit last year with a broke finger. So it's like, I mean, he doing all he can. And I feel what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more from you. But I mean, like, it's only so much you can do when you lose, when you like losing your team to like injuries and stuff like that, bro. Like, it's only so much you can do for real. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what, you want me to explain my list now? Or
you can come up with your top five.
Yeah.
That top five potentially. Like what you see as okay going into next year, who I think would be top five by the end of this year, not who I think top five right now.
Obviously, number one, I'm gonna have Pat. I mean, best QB in the league. 2, Burrow, of course. Like I agree with that. I feel like it's gonna be a revenge year for Joe. 3, Lamar. Y'all had Lamar at 3, right?
I did.
I had CJ. He had Lamar.
Oh, but yeah. 3, Lamar. I mean, Lamar is just gonna keep getting better and better. 4 with CJ. I mean, CJ Stroud. Like Katron said, it's probably the worst you're gonna have him. This past year is probably the worst you're gonna have him. So I feel like next year this year is gonna be legendary for CJ Stroud. 5, y'all gonna look at me crazy as hell for this one. I don't really care, but I feel like A-Rod gonna make a comeback. I don't care if he's old. A-Rod is a great quarterback, bro. So I feel like A-Rod gonna take that 5th spot. I mean, Josh Allen. I respect Josh Allen. He is an upper echelon quarterback, but I mean, he ain't really got nobody at receiver, bro. So it's like, I don't know for real. But 5, I'm gonna go A-Rod. 6, I agree with that, Sam. I feel like Justin Herbert is in that talk of like the top 6 QBs, like regardless of the things that's happened in the past with him, well, with the Chargers and everything like that. I feel like this year, because of like all the acquisitions that we've made, I don't know if y'all been like really keeping up with that, but like all the acquisitions that we made, bro, I feel like it has been essential for Justin Herbert, especially like picking up Ladd McConkey and everything like that. I feel like that's gonna be his go-to guy. I mean, I feel like I expect better from Quentin Johnston. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a bad receiver, bro. Just he need to work on his release, getting off the line, and like bringing down on his routes.
Catching the ball.
That too. But he was really struggling like with getting off the line against receivers. Like, if you watch like film on that, bro, it's like he would like, I don't know, he would just like hesitate. It's like nobody really talking about like a good release off the line. You know what I mean? So Quentin Johnson, he has all the physical capabilities of being a great receiver. You know what I'm saying? He just got to get his hands right, release, and his route running, bro. His route running was.
Sure, that sounds like the whole battle.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That just sounds like a bad receiver. He got to improve on all that route running, catching.
From what I've been seeing, from what I've been seeing like the OTAs and stuff like that, they've been looking good. Especially like we just picked up DJ Chark. We expect the DJ Chark and everything. So like, I feel like that's gonna be pretty good. Like the receiver room was like a worry
That
for us.
nigga
We gonna see, bro. I don't even know. I mean, I like him.
that nigga
But-
big.
I mean,
That
and then
nigga
we
just
got-
said that
we got-
nigga smell like shit.
Yeah. Right. But we got a lot of receiver depth in the receiver room, bro. I mean, you got Lad McConkey. I know he gonna start. Lad, Quinn, DJ, Brandon Rice. I mean, you got old boy that came from Michigan. We picked up some free agent receivers and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like this is gonna be a pretty good year for us. I mean, we got a better O line. We got two monsters at O line already with Joe O and I forgot how you pronounce that dude last name. You said, huh?
Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, Slater. Yeah, Slater. There you go. Yeah, Rashawn
Now he went to Clements.
He did? What year he graduated?
2017.
Damn, that's what's up. But
Yeah, he was in Murray class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got him, and then I mean,
Do they still got Lindsey at center, or what happened to him?
Lindsey. I'm not. Let me see. I was watching I've been watching hella YouTube videos. I should know this shit, but like, let me see. How you spell that man name? Lindsey. Let me see. But
Yeah, I still got him.
Yeah, we still got him. But yeah, like I feel like we done improved a lot in the areas that were needed. I mean, we ain't getting no like just superstar receiver, but I mean, if y'all look at Lad McConkey, I mean, shit, that nigga is nice, bro. Like he is a very good receiver. I mean, damn near full package deal. You can put him at a slot, you can put him at outside. I mean, he's fast, he can catch, he can run routes. Hell, agile. I mean, shit, he's everything you need in a receiver, real shit. But like, yeah, I feel like J. Arbo, he for sure 6 on my list. So
Respectful,
yeah.
Very respectful.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna get too much pushback from me. I think Herb is a top flight talent in the league. I think, as Charles alluded to, he made some great points about how him not being able to seal the deal towards the end of those close games has really hurt and altered the way we kind of view him. I mean, from the year he lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs in heartbreaking fashion after being up by multiple touchdowns, which is unacceptable by any means, matrix. You shouldn't lose that game. But last year it was a lot of heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. Like even against Dallas, he could have beat Dallas, and Dallas was obviously one of the better teams in the league around that time, and the Chargers were kind of trying to like find their footing to get back into the mix. And at the end of the day, it comes down to your quarterback as well. I mean, the line, he weren't having too much time to throw the ball, but you gotta find a way. Like if you got enough time, you got to make a play, and you got to try to make a play out of nothing. We done seen too many quarterbacks do so with less than what Herbert had, despite injury. So, like Charles said, it is no excuse. He kind of get all he get deducted a few points from me from his ability he hasn't shown the ability to close games, and that's been the biggest knock on him, not just from us, but from many other analysts of bigger networks and stuff, relaying that his struggle to finish games and close out games is the detriment of why he can't be considered. Because at a while it was him and Burrow. They were like, who's better, Burrow or Herbert? And I know y'all remember them talks. And everybody was kind of like, oh no, it's Herbert. Herbert's more talented, but we like Burrow has the winning intangibles. Burrow finished the games, he closes the deals, and he's been to a Super Bowl and a conference champion. Well, that's even before all that. I was making the case for Burrow. So hopefully Herbert has a bounce back season with a new refined organization. The Chargers bringing in Jim Harbaugh, bringing in an old tackle with Joe Alt. I think they picked up Gus Edwards too. So they trying to go back to that ground and pound era, like how Jim Harbaugh had them in No, they picked up John Harbaugh. Is it Jim or John?
I think it's Jim.
It's Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I got Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. You know his identity is running the football, so y'all should keep that ball on the ground quite often. Herbert's gonna have.
We got Gus and we got J.K. Dobbins and
Yeah.
we got
just stealing
Kamani. What's his name? Kamani Vidal out of Troy. I think that's his name, but we got the running back out of Troy too. He's nice. And then, the running back room is lengthy as hell. I think we still got Isaiah too.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but yeah, you can continue what you're saying. My bad, bro.
You said who? Nah, I'm good.
I'll say it ain't no disrespect to Herbert because, like I said, I like him. But I mean, you look at that room, that space of who's all the top of the top for the quarterback position. It's a crowded group of guys trying to get into a small space. I mean, we're leaving out guys like Jalen Hurts, who he had a bad year, but he was an MVP candidate who took his team to the Super Bowl. We're leaving out guys like Dak Prescott, who was an MVP candidate last year. We're leaving out guys like Trevor Lawrence, who think what you want about him. I mean, you got to respect who he is in terms of being a top-level quarterback, not in terms of, like, up here, but in terms of, like, better than the average. You got to respect guys like you mentioned, Aaron Rodgers. You got to respect those type of level guys. Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback, I should say. You got to respect those guys. It's a crowded list of a lot of great talents. So somebody's bound to be left off.
Exactly. Marr, you can go to the next segment. We ready to get into this, the prime talk of the town.
Good. Hey man, moving on to the NBA. Let's get into it. So, Dallas Mavericks, Boston Celtics, man. So I'm gonna start the Dallas Mavericks. My question for y'all is Luka Dončić the best player in the NBA? Like, what y'all think about that? I feel like, hey, I'm gonna let y'all answer first.
I'll be short, quick, and to the point. No, he's not. But is he in the talks of that conversation? Yes. But I'm sick and tired of people every single year. We name a new best player of the league every single year. And it's like, okay, like if you win and the best player on your team does great, can he be in the talks? Yes. But we can't just hand the mantle just to anybody if you make it to the finals and you win the championship. It's like it's no legitimacy around that title being the best player of the world. The best player in the NBA is like, okay, who's the best player in the league? I don't know. We got to wait until it's the finals time, and then we get to pick who's the best player on the favorites to win the championship, and then we decide off of that. So it's a very frustrating argument. And it's no disrespect to Luka because I think if Luka wins the championship, he will be the second best player in the NBA behind Jokic. I believe Jokic is still the best player in the league, despite, them losing to Minnesota. I think Minnesota is just a better matched team to disrupt Denver's flow, and they obviously they couldn't do nothing with Dallas. That was two different built teams. They built a team to beat the Nuggets. They didn't build the team to beat the Mavericks. So obviously we've seen what they did to him. But as far as is Luka the best player in the world? No, he isn't. But he is the second best player in the world. And we have two overseas talents running the league as we speak. And it's really it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's real crazy.
I agree. We can't just give the mantle to whoever walks away with the title. And to be honest, it's a lot of context that needs to be involved in these type of decisions. I mean, what is the best player in the NBA? What is the definition? Are we going based off of how he affects his teammates and gravity towards the basketball? Because if that's the case, then it's Jokic. If we add in accolades to the pie as well, that's Jokic. If we're going on both sides of the ball as far as impact offensively and defensively, you can make an argument as Giannis. If we're going off of just who gets the most buckets, Hey, it might be Embiid. If we're going off of just offensive threat level in terms of being a prime level decision maker in terms of putting the ball in the basket and getting others involved, it might be Luka. If we're going for just someone we just looking for as the next man up, you to make Amari happy, shit, it might be Shea. You know what I'm saying?
Oh god.
So I mean, it's just like it's so much context that needs to be involved in terms of who do we really think is the best player and what we value per se. I mean, hell, you can make an argument for Tatum if we're going off if he's the best player on the best team in the league. So me personally, I would look at it as a three-man race between Jokic, Giannis, and Luka. And I could definitely see the argument for Luka, but I'd go with Jokic. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of feel bad for Luka. I mean, you look at the season that he's had this regular season, it goes back to my MVP pick, which was Luka over Jokic. It's like you look at the things that he's doing, not even just including the playoffs, but you got to think about it like this, man. Like, if Luka's doing this, how much more do we realistically expect Luka to ascend before we decide, hey, you could take this trophy home with you? Like, we understand we can't just pick favorites. We can't have voter fatigue. We understand that Jokic is doing his thing. And Jokic, I'm not gonna sit here and act like he didn't deserve it. But at the same time, how many times are we gonna look at 34, 9-9 and just dismiss that as like something that should be swept under the rug? Like, that actually is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, no, of course.
But no argument for me. I think Luka's stats are phenomenal. I think Luka,
His stats by far shows that he should be a realistic MVP. He could have been one MVP, but I guess they go off of PER, player efficiency rating. That's a humongous statistic when it comes to the reward and the overall impact of your team, like with you on the court, but you off the court. The your level of impact to the game of basketball and winning games, like how valuable you are to the team. And I think they kind of look at Jokic like, okay, like you were the best player in the NBA from start to finish. No disrespect to Luka. Luka's stats are amazing and immaculate, but I think they kind of looked at, okay, Jokic the 2, Luka was 5. Like, as far as seeding wise, so they kind of look at it like, okay, like, but it's an unfair award, and I think it's truthfully just based off of like, I don't know because the criteria changes every year because Jokic won it one time as the 6 seed, so it's kind of like, what are we looking for? Like, it's a hard award to really just like pick out because it really just like, okay, like who's kind of like the league's darling at the time, who we all kind of gravitating towards to like kind of just like, okay, we give it to him, it's gonna be justified. And I think Jokic, I feel like if we gave it to Luka, it would have been like, Luka, like, are you serious? Like, it would have been a few people. I'm not to say like if we were to give it a Shea, then it would be a riot. Like we would have shut the cities down if Shea Gilgeous-Alexander went with an MVP trophy this year. And it really was a shame that he got second place. Like they did Luka real wrong with that one. But I don't know. The criteria of the MVP and the best player in the league just changes every single year. And I'm not gonna be one of those guys to sit here and say that just because Luka is in the finals that I'm crowning him the MVP or the best player in the league. No. Even if he wins the championship, he isn't the best player in the league to me. I would consider him second. And we can keep it at that.
Me, Luka's a hell of a player. He's for sure he's up echelon talent in the league right now, bro. The things that he's been doing in this series, man, has just been absolutely crazy, bro. What the series with the that he did with the Timberwolves versus the Mavs, it was absolutely crazy. But as far as him being the best player in the league or in the world, nah. We already know. I think we all agree it's Jokic. I mean, impact on offense and
Shoot, are
defense.
you sure that is Jokic for you?
Yeah.
Listen, we know you're biased.
Who did I say was the best in the league?
Where there's lightning, there's thunder.
I did not say Shea was the best in the league, but I did say he deserved MVP. But anyways, no, it's not Shea. It's most definitely Jokic. I mean, he's more impactful than Shea, bro. Like, I mean, he's impactful too, but I mean, Jokic, he gets it done on both sides of the ball. I mean, offense and defense. So it's like, I mean, there ain't really nothing more to say to it. But I don't feel like Luka's the best player in the league. I feel like he's like second, honestly. But second, like, yeah, he like second or third. I mean, like Charles said, bro, it's kind of hard. Like, if we talking Giannis, Embiid, or even Shea, like it's just different aspects that you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? But let's play in the league. I'm for sure say it's Jokic. I mean, yeah. So that's my thought on that. But okay. Next topic, man. Let's get into this conference finals analysis. So what are your thoughts on the conference finals?
Man, the Eastern Conference was whack. That was by far the worst level of closing championship level basketball I've ever seen. Like Indiana was just by far, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Unexperienced team gave Boston no threat. I mean, they gave them a little push, but realistically, I don't think any fan in America thought that Boston was gonna lose any game. For the exception after game one, once we seen they folded like cheap tents, we knew then. We was like, it's not gonna be every other game. They lost the one game the Celtics had. The Celtics had a brain fart. How many games were they gonna have one? And realistically, it'd be crazy because they had 3 more. But they couldn't win any one of them because they have no closure, no playoff. I mean, you can't really say they got playoff experience. So I could say, for the exception of Pascal, they had no playoff experience on the court. With the fact of Tyrese Halliburton injury after game 2, so it really was just a boring series. I didn't enjoy that series one bit. I feel like Boston was untested in that series, and I feel like it's more cause for concern that the series was as close and competitive as it was, because no Tyrese Halliburton on the court. You're going up against Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard, and Miles Turner to reach a championship. We can all sit there. I mean, anybody to sit there and say that's a more respectable path than whatever Luka just went through in the West is, you're crazy. But for the West, I mean, that was, as far as great hoops, next to none. Like, that was by far the best basketball I've seen in a minute. Like, as far as you want to see pure hoops, we've seen it. If you want to see pure team defense, you've seen it. If you want to see superstars playing up to, not to say all superstars, but if you wanted to see Luka and Kyrie raise their level of play, and Ant in certain games raise their level of play at times, and putting on a show for the pure, real love of the game basketball fan, we got everything that we wanted in the Western Conference Final. I felt like I told Charles, I told Marr, I told the whole world about Cat, and everybody called me crazy. But sure enough, the ugly head turned around the corner, and what did we see? Cat looking like a clown out there, shooting 8-9 threes per game at 7 foot at the 4 with PJ Washington guarding him. You know how despicable that is? That makes me sick. You're a 7-footer shooting 9 threes a game at an inefficient rate by that. I mean, the last game he put up numbers. You know what that got him? Down 40. So, like, Cat had no impact within the series at all. And Rudy Gobert, I think the Twin Towers of Dallas reign superior over the Twin Towers in Minnesota, and shoot, you paid all the monies for them guys, and they got them guys in Dallas, Gafford and Lively, on basically dirt cheap deals. So you got to look at it like, what the hell do we got these two big 7-footers here paying all this money to if they're not gonna make any impact? They're gonna get outplayed by lower level guys. In all of our eyes, we both can say Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns are better overall players than Gafford and Lively, but they didn't play up to that level. And fortunately, we got the finals that we wanted. I mean, it would have been nice to see Denver there, but Dallas versus Boston, I mean, shoot, they don't get better than that. Pure hoops. Hopefully, we get a full 6 to 7 game series, but this playoff has been so unpredictable. We don't know what we're gonna get.
I agree with you. The Eastern Conference Finals, I mean, that shit was really a cakewalk for Boston, and I ain't gonna lie, they really struggled. I ain't gonna say they struggled, but there were some games where they were like,
they struggled
going back and forth with a team that they are way better than. If we talking like stacked teams, Boston is a stacked team, like Tyler been saying for the past few episodes. So it's like Justin Tatum them really had like a cakewalk in the East. Now Luka, that was tough. That was a battle for him. I feel like every series was a battle for Luka, man. So like the East, I mean, that game with the Pacers and the Celtics, I mean, that was really. It wasn't entertaining to me. I mean, it was games. I like look at the game and it'd be close. I'm like, how the hell is the Pacers like this close with the Celtics, bro? Like, how's the score this close? Like Boston got everybody that they need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It was weird, but now, like Tyler said, with the Western Conference Finals with the Mavs and the T-Wolves. Pure hoops, bro. Like, and you can't do nothing but respect it, bro. Like, Kyrie was playing out of his mind, bro. Kyrie, Luka, Lively, and Gafford. I mean, PJ. I mean, the whole team was going crazy. T-Wolves. I mean, Ant was going crazy as well. I mean, there was times where Jaden McDaniels was hoop, like the whole team was hooping. I mean, it was just great hoops, great basketball, honestly. So. That's really my thoughts.
That nigga said,
Hey.
That nigga said,
That's my show. I'm killing you.
Man. From the East, man, I want to say at least something positive about the Celtics. Like something, just to kind of.
Yeah, that's the guy. So go ahead, defend him.
Hey, watch out! I'm not even finna get into all that, but I want to at least say something. I mean, for a team to be like this, obviously they didn't have the strongest pathway, but I mean they did have some close calls, and they ended out on top. I mean that's what you want as a team. Also, if I'm not mistaken, they're the only team throughout this entire playoffs that didn't lose a single road game yet, which is kind of crazy. But with that being said, when you go up against 3 teams and each and every single one of those teams for at least a large portion of the series doesn't have their best hitter, they don't got their best player, you can't really expect too much pushback from that team that you're going against. I mean, when you're going against Jimmy Butler, and there's no Jimmy Butler on the team, you're going to expect at most a 5-game series. And that's what we got. When you're going up against a Donovan Mitchell's team who ain't have Jared Allen for the entire series, a team whose identity is one dynamic scorer and a defender who is at worst a top-tier defensive center in the league, you're going to rock them. When you're going up against a team that is as inexperienced as the Pacers with a point guard who, although talented, has his moments that leave people wanting more, who ends up leaving the series less than halfway through the second game, I mean, what more can you expect from the Pacers? I want to give the Celtics credit that they got here this far, and truthfully, they should have. but it would have been nice to see them get some type of fight from the opponents that they went against. As far as the West, obviously what Luka did was impressive. And I will admit I was wrong in this Timberwolves-Mavs series. I was rooting for the Mavs, but I was looking at this from a logical standpoint. Like, I thought the Timberwolves were just built better to handle and better equipped to get them. I looked at the math problem of 3 versus 2, of 3 big men in Minnesota going up against 2 big men in Dallas. Well, that was the wrong math problem I was looking at. Instead of looking at 3 versus 2, I should have been looking at 2 versus 1, which is 2 nuclear weapons versus 1 nuclear weapon. Because Kyrie and Luka did their damn thing. And Ant had his moments, but it's a math problem. 2 is greater than 1. And hell, even if you take that out the equation, I did not expect Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford to play better than the collective unit of Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, and Karl Anthony Towns. That's unprecedented. That's unheard of. And the damn show was unexpected by me. So shout out to the Mavs for sure.
Most definitely. Let's get into that last discussion. I can't wait to hear these.
All right, man. Let's get into it. NBA Finals review and predictions, man. So this is gonna be the deal breaker right here, man. This question right here. So, who is the biggest key factor from each team? From both teams, from the 2 teams that's in there.
Well, first off, my prediction, I got the Mavs in 6. I feel like the Mavs have the best player in the series, and by far they might have the best two out of 3 players in the series. I think the experience of Kyrie Irving, I mean, it's shown his leadership to be willing to do whatever is needed in order to bring the team to victory. I think Luka has. I mean, we don't got to worry about Luka. He's going to come to play every single night. No individual player on the Boston Celtics can hold Luka's water. They can't hold weight with Luka Dončić. He is a size skill mismatch across anybody on the board. Tatum, fry fish. Jaylen Brown, bake session. Like who we go down the list. Like Drew Holiday can't touch him. Derek White can't hold him. Like, we can go down and down the list. Luka Dončić is cooking every one of those defenders that you throw at him. You may be able to make it a little difficult, but we just seen second team all NBA defense, Jaden McDaniels, get cooked. And he's 6'10" with a 7-foot wingspan. So it's kind of like, if he's doing that to them, mind you, Drew Holiday is about 6'4", get 6'5", give or take. Good defender. Derek White's an active, live defender, hands. But I think the story of this series is going to be how you're going to play this pick and roll with Derek Lively, Gafford, and Luka Dončić. And it's hard because what are you going to do? Are you going to let them kill you with that pick and roll all day and stay with the shooters? Or are you going to go trap Luka strictly off that double team to force it to Derek Lively to make that next decision, which he has been great at these entire playoffs on catching the ball at the high post and being able to make the next pass in order to, you take advantage of the 4-on-3, which has equaled to a lot of either makes or misses from those the wings that they have with PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. But I feel like overall, Dallas has, I wouldn't say they have the better roster, but I feel like they're playing better at the right time. Chemistry feels right. Everybody know their places. Everybody been pretty consistent of who they've been from start to finish. PJ Washington hasn't been a consistent shooter, but he's a timely shooter and comes up clutch when need be. I feel like matchup-wise, it's going to be a good matchup between PJ Washington. Well, my matchups for this series, I'm going to have Lively and Gafford. They're going to be Porzingis, of course. I'm going to have PJ Washington guarding Tatum. I'm going to have Jalen. I'm going to have, what's his name? Derrick Jones Jr. guarding. They're really interchangeable between Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington with the 2 J's. But I'll start out with Derrick Jones Jr. on Jaylen Brown. For my guards, I'll have Drew Holiday. I have Luka Dončić on Drew Holiday, and I have Derek White on Kyrie Irving. I feel like Kyrie Irving, I feel like Luka, there's not kind of a matchup in a way where Luka would be able to hide on the court. I feel like Luka in some way, shape, or fashion will have to be involved in basically like you're going to have to somewhat defend. You can't hide from any matchup because you're not going to guard Tatum because Tatum realistically is going to have the ball playing with it in his hand. And then you can't guard Jaylen Brown because, but quite frankly, Jaylen Brown's going to attack you and might make you in foul trouble for the end of the first. And then Derek White, he's quite frankly, we're being honest, that he's really their true essential point guard. In a way, if Tatum's not bringing the ball up and running the show, it's really Derek White. Getting everything situated, getting them in sets, doing all the little things necessary, setting the screens, getting the back tabs, being available for them open catch and shoot threes. So I feel like the series, it's a great matchup series as far as like we go for player to player. I feel like the Celtics are a deeper team, but I feel like the Mavs, I don't even want to say that. Like, Charles, I'm being honest, bro. I really feel like the Mavs are a deeper team based on the bodies that they are able to play. Not the bodies that they have, but the bodies they are able to play. You can go out there and throw a Josh Green out there. You can go out there and throw a Jaden Hardy out there. You can go out there and if push comes to shove, you can put a Tim Hardaway Jr. out there to come give you productive minutes on the court. Maybe knock down a timely 3 or 2 when Luka or Kyrie's getting double teamed and one of those crucial pick and roll moments. But I just feel like overall that the Celtics, they're going to show. I mean, I feel like the road to the path to the finals for the Celtics is going to end up eventually showing that you're getting off by being lackluster teams with none of their number one options on each team that you beat from Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, and Jimmy Butler. So now that you're going into a juggernaut of 2 of the clutchest guards in the NBA, and shoot, we've been seeing the stories, 2 of the clutchest guards in NBA history. I don't think you can do nothing with those guys, especially if the important key factors in this series are on. And those key factors for me would be PJ Washington for Dallas. I feel like PJ Washington would be a very essential piece for that team. And for the Celtics, I believe the biggest piece is, hate to say it, Derek White. If Derek White comes to play, does his impactful job, I feel like the Celtics have a really high chance of winning. So if any of y'all go Celtics in whatever game, I'm not going to rebuttal that. I'm going to just say, this is my belief. I believe the Mavs winning in 6, and this is my reason why. So me, I got Mavs in 6. Key players on each team for me, that's going to be X factors of winning the series is PJ Washington on the Mavs and Derek White on the Celtics.
I feel that. As far as the key players for the Mavericks, I kind of look at this from the standpoint of the same way you do, where I feel like Boston has the better quality players. You know, you got the bigger names outside of the 2 nukes. You got Tatum, you got Brown, you got Porzingis, you got White, you got Holiday, Horford. You got those guys that you can lean on in different stretches of the game. But as far as bodies to throw out there, Dallas has the better quantity. You got Luka, Kyrie, PJ, Derrick Jones Jr., Gafford, Lively, Hardy, Exum, Josh Green. You just got Kleber back. I mean, hell, if you want to throw in Dwight Powell just to get – if those guys are in foul trouble, you can if you want to. You got a more amount of guys that you're willing to at least show a level of trust in the biggest of moments as opposed to Boston. Not to say that they don't trust guys like Peyton Pritchard and Hauser and all those guys that they got, but for sure, I feel like Dallas has that edge in terms of quantity over quality. As far as the players that I feel like will be important to this series, I'm not going to lie. This is kind of a curveball for Dallas. I look at Hardy. I feel like the minutes that he will be able to get, the way that I look at this whole finals, for one of these teams, a role player is going to win a game. A role player is going to win a game for one of these teams. One of the guys is going to be off, whether it's Brown, whether it's Tatum, whether it's Kyrie, whether it's Luka. One of the role players is going to step up and be the main guy and the main reason why we walk out here with a dub. For Dallas, I think it can be Hardy. Obviously, you could go with PJ and Derrick Jones Jr. because they're going to give those open looks since all the eyes are going to be put towards that backcourt that Dallas has. But as far as off of the bench, I feel like he would definitely make his presence felt if he is given the opportunity to. For the Celtics, I feel like it's Drew Holiday. He doesn't get a lot of attention that he rightfully could deserve. But in the past, when he was on the Bucks, and even at times this year when he's on the Celtics, he's won games. Like, he's won high-level moment games in the biggest of stages for these teams. I mean, just last series alone, you've seen it seemed like every game in every moment in game 3 and game 4, he was getting some type of and one layup or some type of clutch defensive play that ended up setting that team up for success. Like, he gets kind of lost in the fold because the other two guys that are better than him on that team are like 30-point per game scorers for that series. And he kind of gets lost in that mix, but he definitely has the impact to shake up this series. As far as predictions go, I've been going back and forth because on one hand, I look at the Mavericks and their path and the lack of trust and faith that I have in the Celtics because of everything that they've been going through in terms of how they've looked against weaker competition, for lack of the truth. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to go up against logic, and it's kind of hard to go up against history because even if you got the best player on your team, it's kind of hard going up against a juggernaut and seeing Goliath get taken down by David. I mean, there's a reason why LeBron went up against the Warriors 4 times and only walked away with 1 chip. There's a reason why you got these dynasties that keep on reappearing when they have these upper echelon level talents like the Spurs and the Bulls, the Lakers. You see these teams that are better than anybody else because even if the other team has a better player, it's kind of hard going up against a greater squad. So ultimately, I rested on the Mavericks in 6 because I feel like they are way more capable of handling clutch situations. Also, it really is just, for lack of better words, it really is just hard to trust Boston. Like, they make so many mistakes, They're a heavy 3-point shooting team. They don't got the greatest shooters in the world, but they definitely get the volume up. They definitely have guys that can make those shots. But when those shots are not falling, you definitely see the repercussions. We've seen it against Miami. We've seen it against Cleveland. And to be fair, their only 2 losses in the postseason have come off of historic performances by their opponents. But this isn't Miami that they're facing. This isn't Cleveland. This is Dallas, where you have 2 guys that can realistically go out of their way and get you 40. With 2 guys that can realistically go out of their way and shake up the entire dynamic of not just the game, but the series. You got guys that are going to be more physical than your bigs. No disrespect to Horford and Porzingis, but this isn't Miles Turner who's going to be stretching out shooting threes. This is going to be someone that's going to bang and get these alley-oops and get in that dunker lane and handle business on that block. So I just trust the Mavericks. I think that they could get it done, and I definitely see it going the distance, at least 6 games.
Great analysis. I like your take, Shu. You finally decided you didn't want to lose a take this time. Picking the right side with the Mavs. You know, you chose the Timberwolves, and I told you you're gonna eat them words, and I told you, I said it was gonna be a 5, and what happened? You contradicted yourself, my boy. And
hey, you know you did the same thing with the Nuggets too, huh?
I took that L, but shoot, I was accurate, dead on the point with this one by far. We was only 1 game into that series, and I said, shoot, this is probably gonna go 5. He was, what? You crazy? And hey, so I'm glad that you kind of you picked the right side to be on in this debate.
With me, man, as far as who won't take it all home, I'm gonna go Dallas. I got Dallas in 6. Yeah, I got Dallas in 6 for sure. And I only say that. You thought I was gonna choose the Celtics?
Duh, you love Tatum.
Charles, get this man, bro. But I say that because you don't know what kind of Boston you're gonna get. Like Charles said, they're real heavy on threes, and when they're not hitting, they suffer the consequences, bro. So it's like, and like you said, you seen it against the Heat. So you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with Dallas because in my eyes, they're really like the better team, and they face better teams. I don't know, like the West is just stacked this year. This is like the best we've seen in the West, like the best West we've seen in a while. Like I don't know, the West is good every year, but this year it was just like loaded with talent, bro. So it's like I don't know. I feel like the Mavs have had the harder road than the Celtics.
Beating 3 50-plus win teams.
Boston didn't face a single one.
Bro, they didn't really face no comp, bro. Like everybody is literally peeping that as well. But like I said in the previous take, bro, Boston had a cakewalk. The Mavs, nigga, they had to really like fight for real. Like I didn't even expect the Mavs to make it this far for real. But you know what I'm saying? This series, like this playoff series, has really been crazy. But as far as key players, with the Mavs, I'm gonna go. What can I say? I mean, I already know Luka and Kyrie gonna do their thing, but they're gonna do the best they can. It comes down to PJ Washington and Derrick Jones, and I'm gonna say PJ, bro. I'm gonna say PJ. Like Tyler, I think you said that. I think you said PJ, but I'm gonna say PJ just because I know he's gonna have like them open looks, and he also has to guard. I know he's gonna have. He gonna possibly have to guard Tatum and Brown. He's gonna have to really play like lockdown defense on them, man. Not necessarily. He's not gonna necessarily stop them from scoring, but just like keep their numbers down. So that's my thoughts on that. From the Celtics. I kind of want to say, I'm gonna say Jason Tatum, bro, because I mean, Jaylen Brown has been playing better. Like this past series, Jaylen Brown played better than Tatum, bro. Like in my eyes, he did. So with Tatum, I mean, like Tyler said in the previous episode, I can't remember which one it was. Tatum was missing clutch shots. Jaylen Brown was the main reason why they really won that game, if we're being real. So it's like, well, that game went against the Pacers and everything like that. But I feel like Jason Tatum gonna be like the key factor in that series because I mean, at the end of the day, this is supposed to be his team. So we finna really see like what kind of Jason Tatum we finna get in this series. And I feel like if he don't play how he's supposed to, I mean, it's gonna be hell for the Celtics, bro. And I mean, I feel like
Jason Tatum we don't ever get that.
Yeah, I feel like Tatum gonna play how he's supposed to, but the points, like I ain't gonna lie, you could drop that 30 and it's not gonna be impact. It's something like in some cases it's not impactful, bro. So you know what I'm saying? I got the Mavs winning this, and you just really don't know you don't know what Boston's gonna bring, bro. Like it's an indecisive team in my eyes. And Dallas, in my eyes, is the better team. Like I know Boston got a stacked team, but Dallas coming with that hunger, like that motivation. Especially Kyrie, he coming back to Boston. They're gonna be. You remember what they were saying about him when he was playing for the Nets and everything like that. They was talking all that shit, but Kyrie finna come with that heat. Luka finna come with that heat, bro. So it's like I got the Mavs winning this.
Man, look like we all just down there just jinxed it because Well, everybody picked the Mavs and everybody picked them in 6. So I'm like, God damn. No originality.
I will say this, like, at least to give at least some amount of like difference and respect towards the Celtics, because they haven't played anybody like the Mavs in this postseason. I feel like Dallas hasn't played anyone similar to the Celtics. Like, yeah, they took out the best defense in the league, but Boston's number 2, and they play defense a whole lot better than just relying on one rim protector. So they definitely got something up their sleeve. They're not going up against a team that's full of nothing but youth, and they're not going up against a team full of stars that are, for the most part, beyond their prime in the Clippers. So it's going to be a battle for sure.
And I'm excited to watch it on Thursday night, boy. ABC 7:30. I can't wait to watch that game, boy.
I got one question for both of y'all, though.
What?
Can the Celtics win the title with Jaylen Brown as their best player in the series?
Yep. Because the team is so great around them. Shoot. Why? Like, at the end of the day, that's why I say what I say about Tatum. It's like Tatum. The fact that Tatum doesn't have to be the best player on his team in order to win a championship just goes to show you that he doesn't deserve to be in those top conversations. And it's unfortunate. Like, he has a juggernaut team around him. That team is by far the best overall constructed team in the league. But as far as like if LeBron James wasn't the best player on that Miami Heat team, they're not winning. They're not winning. They're not winning any of those championships. We can be honest. So, like, the fact that you can be the best player on your team, quote unquote, and not be the best player of that series and still win a championship, that just goes to show you, like, you're not a part of this top echelon group. Like, your team is that well constructed where you can have a whole off series and you can still win an NBA championship. So that's like that drops the significance of what we should think about Tatum if that was to be the case. If Brown was to be the better player within the series, like what like, you know, what the hell is going on? Like,
couldn't you say the same thing about the Warriors when they added KD? I mean, Curry was a top tier player in his own right. And it's not like he had to have the greatest series in the world.
No. You talking about when they added KD? That's 1A. They were both 1As. We don't look at Jaylen Brown as no 1A. Like, throughout the regular season, we like, nigga, Jaylen Brown is the 2. Tatum is the 1. But it's kind of like in the playoffs, it's when Tatum doesn't want to show up, Brown is the person that really plays fearless. And I think that's what benefits Brown and Tatum, that Tatum you can kind of tell Tatum is in his head in a sense at certain points of the game where it kind of limits his aggressiveness. Where Brown is kind of like, well, fuck it, like shit, like I'm gonna come put up these shots, like shoot. You see his arms, like shoot. Jaylen Brown is a big individual, 6'6", he probably around 220, 225. Like he ain't taking no for an answer going downhill. If the shot not going, he gonna try to go get a bucket by any means. So I feel like yeah, Tatum. If Brown could be the best player on if they win if they win a championship, Brown can be the best player just because of the greatness of the rest of that team.
I feel like, you know what this series kind of give me vibes of? Dallas versus the Heat back in 2011. That's what it kind of reminded me of.
How so?
Because it's like, you look at the Mavs, they didn't really have, I mean, they got Luka and Kyrie, but they didn't really have nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mavs, they have the bodies to, like, you know, play the Heat. You know, and the Heat was the better team for sure. Like, they were way more talented. They had Brian, they had Bosh, D-Wade, shit. I think they had Chomp. Did they have Mario at the PG? I think they did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they did. And then they had Ray Allen, I think, still. I think they had Ray Allen. I think they had Udonis Haslam at the center. I can't remember. But that's a while back. But I just look at it because it's like the Celtics are the Heat. Like they're the more talented team. There's more big names, but you got like Dallas. I mean, Dallas back then they had Jason Kidd. They had Dirt. I want to say they had who I can't remember who all they had, but it's so long ago. But Dallas didn't have like big no names like the Heat did basically.
You're old.
Who?
You say you're old now.
I'm 23, bro. But I don't know. It's just like that's the vibes it kind of give me, and I feel like Dallas is really like the sleeper in this series in a sense. For some
Mario
people,
Chalmers, Ilgauskas, Haslam, James Jones, Eddie House, Mike Miller, Mike Bibby.
damn, I forgot about Bibby.
I know Dallas had Terry and Kidd, and I think
What you know about Terry and Kidd?
What you mean? What I know about them boys?
JJ Barrera, Paige Stojakovic, Sean Marion.
Yeah,
Dirk.
Don Stevenson, I think.
I was a Corey Brewer, Brennan Hayward. That's what Dirk averaged 27, or basically 28 and 8. Terry was 17. Sean Marion averaged 12. Kidd averaged 9 and 7 assists. Damn.
It was a squad.
Nah, it was a good little squad, but it's like Boston got the better team for sure. But I feel like Dallas is just they're gonna show them who better, basically. Oh,
so, hey, was that?
Because I had to stand up at the stretch, bro.
You stood up.
I went like that a little bit.
He just get ready.
Stupid. Stupid as hell.
Hey, that's crazy.
But hey, man, that's a wrap, man. Episode 12, Check the Stats podcast, man. I hope y'all boys enjoyed this episode, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more content, man. We got more content coming soon. Big projects, big works in the making, man. Hey, we coming back with more and more hot takes, hot content. Make sure y'all don't miss out on it, man.
Yes, sir. If you need the facts, come check the stats. You know what time it is with us.
Yes, sir. You already know. Checking out.